Hey guys, so Matt Lauer just got busted and fired from NBC over sexual assault allegations. And also in the news, Germany is putting up giant concrete blocks to prevent another truck attack or terror attack around Christmas markets this year. So I'm going to try to connect these two stories and also talk a little bit about Vietnam because, you know, I'm just sitting here and I'm just bored and I just need somebody to talk to. So this was just the breaking news that I got on my way out, and I hate it when I catch things that happen right away, because stories like this I just love to have like the Alex Jones take on it, or the Ben Shapiro take, which I'm sure I'll get, but it'll take a few hours in the news cycle, so it's something that I have to look forward to in the morning. And my schedule, just being an obsessive YouTube watcher, I know what's up, and I know what to expect. And anyway, I wanted to start reporting on it before anyone else, because I came down here to check my Twitter, and the Wi-Fi here is terrible, and just the internet in Vietnam in general has been bad lately. It's November here, and it's getting kind of cold, or it feels cold. It didn't feel cold to me last year, but this year it certainly does for some reason. And the pollution's kind of bad, and there's a lot of stuff that's been burning. I don't know what the deal is. I think people burn paper or something. But who knows about that? I mean, it's still beautiful. I mean, I'm very thankful to be here. And there's still just, especially, I think it's just a change in time. When I started traveling 10 years ago, even to what people always say is more developed South Korea, like, I just wasn't as up to date with the times. I don't know. There just wasn't the same media and the same atmosphere and the same connectedness that I have to people out here. But that might just be the change of technology. Who knows? Anyway, things are just hunky-dory out here. But it was kind of funny to see Matt Lauer, and I wondered why that name stuck in my head or resonated with me so much. I mean, partly because in recent memory, I thought his interview with Trump was just unfair and bad. Can you guys hear that garbage truck? That's... Okay, so finally the truck is gone, and I'm not going to scream into the mic anymore because I just overcompensate. I just get paranoid about hearing myself because unlike talking to an actual person, I can see myself in the screen, but I can't see my own reaction to myself. I can't hear myself as I speak. It's a serious problem, Everyone should try it, I think. We should all have that bedroom, that secret camera room from the Big Brother house in the original series to just confess all of our thoughts and feelings. Not to get all weird on you or anything. What was I talking about? Okay, so Matt Lauer got fired from NBC for his, I guess, sexual harassment, and whatever it was serious enough to get him fired. And I just caught the opening of the Today Show on the way out, and it's just hilarious. Like the anchors are crying, and of course it's been so long since I've sat down and actually watched the Today Show. Honestly, it has been since I've been in a Greyhound bus station, probably, which has thankfully been a good 4 or 5 years, probably. But anyway, Matt Lauer, I remember him when he got popular. Because, like many people in my generation, right around the time that the internet became a thing, we were all hooked on legacy media, and we were all following legacy media. Which meant that SNL with its Al Franken and Adam Sandler and everything else was just the funniest thing on TV. We'd stay up late. That was exciting for us when we were kids to stay up late and watch that show. And of course, Letterman and Leno and all that. Of course, we followed all that. And so the anchors we trusted. And I remember back when a younger Matt Lauer with a full head of hair would grace us all with his presence on TV. And I remember being aware of his name and knowing who he was, because at that age and at intervals throughout my life, I've been a morning person, And so I would get up in the morning and I would see him, and it was sort of like a symbol of let's get going. It was it was family positive. It was all about exploring and liking the world. And then he did something that kind of bothered me, that irritated my jealous heart just a little bit, you know. This is my Matt Lauer story. I was thinking about this today somehow, or at least since I got the news. But they did this thing that was based on the, you know, a cappella version of the song for the game show that was based on the classic computer game Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. And it went, Where in the World is Matt Lauer? I probably could sing it, but I'm not going to, because I don't like singing. Karaoke bars are just, I don't know. It's like how we find excuses just to get hammered for no reason. But anyway, they would send the lucky Matt Lauer to a different spot in the world. And I just remember just one of these series, and I caught this when I was like, oh gosh, I must have been 12 or 13 years old at the time. And I was just starting to become aware of how the world worked, you know, and what money was, and what value was, and what people were expecting, and what was expected of me. You know, and I learned things like, I learned with horror that car insurance was a thing that you had to pay for, and all these other nasty adult facts that I was just totally oblivious to. But I remember seeing his series, Where in the World is Matt Lauer? And all they did was fly him to a nice location and treat him like a king, basically. And he'd do like a fucking 4-minute, well, not even that, probably like a 45-second little thing before commercial breaks. And I remember him going to Australia and being on Bondi Beach. And I remember seeing that and thinking, you know, this guy is just, they're paying him to do this. When even the very thought of traveling to work was still too great a thing for my head to even wrap around at that age. It would have felt good enough at that time just to get out of the state and maybe go back to somewhere warm. Anyway, sour grapes, I guess. Or is it schadenfreude? It's one of those horrible feelings. It's one of those things where I'm taking delight in this, sort of like how I took delight in Al Franken's, the stuff he's going through, because it sort of represents a whole change in perspective that I'm going through. And maybe it's partisan, but I mean, that's just the way it goes, you know? Yeah, of course people can help it. Of course. I took one of those political chart thingies recently, the other night, because one of the pages I'm following was, someone asked, and I was just southeast of the center, you know? Light, like alt-centrist, libertarian maybe, or GOP, I guess. I've never voted for a Republican, but if I ever vote again, I will. But I don't know if I'm going to vote again. You have to fill out a form or something. That's really a lot of work. I don't even care. I'm not even living in the States. It's kind of weird for me to vote from afar, but I tried this year. I tried filling in the absentee ballot thing. I was going to vote for Jill Stein, of all people. Because, I've got, like, Green Party memories, at least. I met Ralph Nader at one point. Very strange guy, anyway, but and I remember going to Green Party rallies and stuff, hanging out with potheads and all that, you know. It was fine. Everyone's skipping school. No one cared. I thought, yeah, I'll vote for her, just because I felt like it would be a good year to vote for a third party. And looking at the options, looking at Gary Johnson, I just couldn't bring myself to vote for him. And there was a lot of evidence that, you know, he was very establishment with a lot of his views. Kind of out there. Great source for memes, though. Dank memes. If you go to Gary Johnson's Dank Meme Stash, it's pretty hilarious. But we do get bullied a lot for having evidently low IQs, you know. It's worse over at the Lenin page, but I won't get into any of all that. I'm struggling right here to try to match this to what they're doing in Berlin. Because I don't know, man. Like, I've seen so many horrific reports out of Europe, and I wonder to what extent it's overblown and to what extent it's real. And You know, just seeing how much Pierce Morgan differs from like Tommy Robinson, or that Greta showdown he had with Ben Shapiro. Just looking at different sides, and you know, I'm kind of like the story of the bucket of crabs, and they're all trying to climb out, but as soon as one gets on top of the others, they pull it down. You know. Thus, I believe in my partisanship, but I also see it as kind of bad in a way. But I just saw this. Oh, maybe I can put the link below. I'm just gonna throw this at you. I just saw a really good documentary. It was the same guys that did the documentary about Steve Bannon that I reviewed, and it was just so good, talking about the election and just talking about just the actual sheer absurdity of it. When looking at the hard numbers and all the traditional measures of American politics, and the stuff that worked to get so many key establishment Democrats elected, and the stuff that worked to win 4 elections for the Democrats, 2 Clinton terms and 2 Obama terms. I mean, it was supposed to be flawless. But Trump and his madness, by trusting completely his gut, I might add, which is something that even his critics have to accept, and something that even his critics agree to. Trump and his madness just sort of eloquently brushed off all criticism and just rose to the top by doing and saying some pretty nasty things. Anyway, it's November in Hanoi. I don't know what's up. I've been getting out more. I have. It's interesting, like, since I'm really committing now to studying Vietnamese, and I'm on this 2-month plan that I've finished 1 week of so far. And I'm still struggling with a lot of pronunciation, but I'm at least able to write. And that's a power that I never had in Chinese. So Chatelet to that, and Chatelet to my Kekistani friends who won the Anarchy Ball competition, which was kind of pointless because who needs the support of ANCAPs anyway? But this is the future utopia we're living in, you know. And it's Vietnam, it's all right, you know.